welcome to Jemma Bayley Reviews Everything Ever. It's me, Jemma Bayley. I am here reviewing everything ever. We are up to, why? Can you believe it? My God. I'd like to thank my friends. I'd like to thank my family who've gotten me this far. We're so close. We're so close. We're almost at the end. How crazy. I can't believe, first of all, I can't believe I've gotten to the end of the alphabet. As a dyslexic person, it's just a weird moment. You know what? I've got a fondness for the alphabet now. You know what? I might actually read something. Before we get to why, this is what's happened this week. I golf. No, I know too. Why am I golfing? What business does Jemma Bayley have golfing? I have no hand-eye coordination. Grass makes me sneeze. And golf balls have no use to me. I knew I would enjoy the putting element of golf. I knew I would. I didn't think I had the capacity in me. And the first time I drove the ball and actually went far, I went, am I a pro? Am I a genius? Like, you know, like when you secretly think you're going to be a savant late in life? Like, I didn't realize that I'm actually a chess champion. I hit this ball and I went, God, should I start golfing? So I had a good time playing golf. I did not expect this. We're giving golf 5 stars, or as they call in golf, a hole in one. Yep, a hole in one. So, why? Why now? Why us? Why the world? Why? Why starts with a W? What the fuck? You know what is annoying about things? No with that. It does annoy me that 3 letters can be 1 letter sound. You know what I mean? Like Q, there's a whole word that is Q as well. I'm just getting to a point where, am I dyslexic or is the world just built to be a puzzle? Am I dyslexic or is reading hard? We're reviewing yodeling. Leading up to seeing someone yodel, I thought yodeling was like not a thing. Like I just thought it was like, I knew that people yodeled and I knew yodeling occurred. What is yodeling? Yodeling, goddamn. Yodeling is to singing, is line dancing, is to dancing. Like, it is dancing, but it's impaired. It's like the thing, but it's got parameters. Do you know what I mean? So, like, yodeling is like a parameter of vocal noises. There's tones going on. I don't know how you judge it, because for sure there's yodeling competitions. Opera's gorgeous because it's like hitting notes and it doesn't matter the language, it still invokes emotion and it's gorgeous. Yodeling invokes a very particular emotion. It's, are they okay? Someone get a doctor. You know, that's not normal. In my brain, yodeling is river dancing. Yodeling's river dancing is the accordion. What sport is yodeling? You know when they run after the cheese down the hill? If yodeling was a sport, that's the sport yodeling would be. If yodeling was a person, you know those people who paint figurines this small with the glasses on? It's so precise and particular, and not many people get it. And they're also like, they look strange while they're doing it. If yodeling was a sexual position, oh, here we go. It is the rusty trombone. Again, a lot of precision involved. If yodeling was a bird, it's the kiwi. Because, like, it should have been dead by now. Like, it shouldn't exist anymore. It's a flightless bird, but it's the national treasure of a country. That's yodeling. It should be dead. But one particular country is keeping it alive. I didn't know I had this much to say about yodeling. Okay, so probably the most famous form of yodeling that we all know is the yodeling kid. The kid who yodeled in the store and it was put on TikTok and everyone was like, the yodeling kid. And he was like the Huck tour of that generation. It's so weird that all the things I've just said are real things. The yodeling kid is the Huck tour of this generation. That's a thing that was said and is also accurate and true. That sentence is yodeling. The sentence I just said is the yodeling of sentences. It's like, why does this exist? I wish it didn't, but it has to. And we're marveling at it now. We're like, okay, all right, interesting. That exists. When I've seen a yodel, is that the correct terminology? What is a group of yodels? What's a group of people yodeling? Is it a yodel? Is it a mouse? Is it mice? I'm so sorry. I don't know where I've gotten to. For a period of time, anything I didn't know what a group of was, I just called it mice. So, because I think it's because I was like, what's a group of moose? It was a bunch of moose. Mice? No, a bunch of moose is moose. A bunch of mouse is mice. So a bunch of yodelers is also mice. It doesn't make any sense. Why am I here? What am I doing? Okay, all right. A group of yodelers can refer to a Swiss yodel. There is no words for a group of yodelers. So I think it's up to me to come up with what a group of yodelers is called. I'm going to call them a fluctuation of yodelers. So there you go. Well, that's my call me Shakespeare. I'm giving you your words. A group of yodelers is a fluctuation of yodelers. You're welcome. So, yodeling. I'm going to give it a 4 because it looks really hard. I love that it still exists in this world. It's somewhat whimsical to me. And as the inventor of the word, a fluctuation of yodelers, it's a small place in my heart as a scholar to have contributed to that worldly demographic. So you're welcome. You're welcome. 4 stars for yodelers. We're going to review Yule tidings and Yule things. Yule is an ancient winter festival with Germanic origins, celebrated around the winter solstice to mark the longest night and the return of the sun. Okay, there you go. Oh, the thing you might have heard of most is a Yule log, but there is this thing called Yule lads. And they're like these little gnome guys that go around causing mischief, and that's kind of part of they're like the Yule Santa Clauses. Like they're the mythical creature of Yule. These little guys that go around just causing shit, and they sound like ridiculous. Like they're licking spoons. They're replacing things with coal. You know how we do the elf in the shelf thing where they're like, the elf goes around the house and does silly things. These lads are those guys. But they're also just strange. I like decorating my tree kind of Yule-like, German Christmas sort of vibe. Actually, I have something to tell you. I have a superpower. Did you know this? Well, here you go. So I guessed Christmas trees. I don't go up to Christmas trees and go, you used to be a pine. You have come from this origin. I did this at work one year where I would talk to a person and I go, I'm going to guess what your tree at home looks like, okay? I think I got up to about 5 or 6 people before I made a mistake. And even when I don't get it right, I get damn close. I think how it started was my friend next to me, and because I think I knew her well, I guessed her Christmas tree. Okay, in Australia, we have plastic trees. We have the green plastic trees. That's the most common type of Christmas tree. And then you decorate it however you want. So going into this, understand that if I guess anything outside of a green plastic tree, that's insanity. That's craziness, right? And I did it. So first one was I guessed a traditional green tree. I knew her well, and I just said, you have different colored lights. She goes, yes. And I go, okay, cool. I guessed her tinsel. I guessed her bauble colors. I guessed that she had swear words on the tree. I was like, you have baubles and little things on the tree that are swear words. She just goes, yes. And she showed me the tree, and it was just bang on, and everyone was like, what the fuck? But I did know her well, okay? So the third one was a little bit tricky. I went out on a limb and went, you don't have a tree. And because she said, guess my tree. And I said, you don't have a tree, just offhandedly. And she went, how the fuck? And this is where it got really weird, because the person after that, they're like, okay, well, guess my tree. I have a tree. And I went, okay, you have a tree, but it's this big and it sits in the corner of your room on a table. And we were all like, so it just got to this point where I was like guessing like that. And I think we got to a point where I guessed someone's tree and it was a white tree, which is not common. And she freaked out. I freaked out. And she goes, do you want to guess any more? And I was like a little bit scared. And I went, do you have food ornaments on your tree? And she was like, because she had these candy canes. She had like cookies and all that. And I think after this is when I started like messing up guesses and stuff like that. But we got to a good 6 people before it stopped. This year, I was guessing trees. This year I was out guessing trees. My friend had a small tree and she was like, yes. So I can usually get the tree pretty bang on from the beginning. I'll be like, you have a small tree? Yes. And I guess that she had paper ornaments. She was like, yes. And I asked her, do you have pictures of family, like photos of family and friends? She goes, no. And she did pause. And I was like, oh God, I don't know why, but I just felt like she had photos on the tree. And I said, do you have a star? You don't have a star. She goes, no, I do have a star. I'm like, okay, you just don't seem like you would have a star. And I'm like, did you make them? And she goes, yeah. And I'm like, God, and I was kind of annoyed that I got them all wrong. She did say she did have photos of people on the tree. They were celebrities. And I was like, oh, of course you've made celebrity. And then she said the star is Meryl Streep. And that's like, I understand. She was like, yeah, it is a star. But I was also like, but it isn't what I meant to say, like a traditional like star. And now I'm like, guys, it's really hard when you lose your gift. Now I'm just like everyone else. Is this how normal people feel? I hate it. Anyway, so that's my story. That's my truth. After that, I did guess a correct tree, which was quite a big deal because she had a real tree and we don't often have real trees. I said, you don't have a star, do you? You don't have a star in your tree. She goes, no. And she's like, but I'm not going to let you guess it because I don't think you can guess it. And I was like, okay. And so I guessed some other things. I got those right. And I go, what's on top of your tree? She shows me a picture. It's a angel. They couldn't figure out how to get it to stick to the top of the tree, so they've tied a string to the angel. But they've tied the string to the neck, and it fell off, and it looks like the angel's hanging itself. And that made them laugh, so they left it. And I was like, you're right. I don't think I could have guessed that. I didn't think of that. That was not on my radar. I'm glad she didn't make me guess that, because how deranged would it have been if I had tried to guess that? If I was like, you don't have a traditional tree. But you do have an angel hanging itself. Where were we? Yes, Yule. So I think Yule is I think Yule traditions, it's got that dark German fairy tale vibe to it. You know, where it's a whimsical tale, but you learn a lesson about not eating too much because you die or a witch eats you. Which I find fun. The practices include feasting, gift-giving, burning a Yule log to bring light and warmth into the home. Rituals often involve honouring cycles of nature, storytelling, symbolic activities like decorating with evergreen. Gatherings often include stories and songs, and sometimes people would make up oaths and boasts as part of ritual. Boasts? Honouring nature. All right, so what are we giving Yule? What are we getting? I like it. I don't like it over Christmas. I like it in conjunction with Christmas. I'm gonna give it 5 stars because I think we should do more silly little like pagan rituals. I think that's cute as hell. My new Yule tradition is to guess people's Christmas trees. We are going to review years. They cut up really weird. What is it, like 365 days or something in a year? And I know that it's about seasons and what happens when years start getting longer? Are years going to get longer because of like global warming and stuff, or a season's going to change? What do we do with our calendar? Like it's like, I find it weird, first of all, that we have a calendar and then to catch up, we get rid of a day. It seems really like it feels like someone came up with it on the fly and didn't think of it all the way through. And is the Chinese year the same amount of days? The Chinese calendar has a variable length, with common years having 12 months and 353 days, 355 days, and leap years having 13 months, 383 and 385 years. Each month is based on the moon cycle, so months have either 29 or 30 days. To account for the 11-day difference between 12-month lunar year and a solar year, a leap month is added to the calendar approximately every 3 years. Oh, so they get a whole month. What are they doing the extra month? Traditional month names. Historically, the months had more poetic, Oh, they have really sweet and like imagery-based names for the months. So they've got like apricot and peach month and plum month, but the first month they have is called first month. Preserved meat month. That sounds great. I want a preserved meat month. So that's the 12th. Where's the 13th one called? It's called leap month. Of course. It comes right before first month and winter month. I also like that, like, in the Chinese calendar, they have years, like the monkey, the rabbit, and all that sort of stuff. And in we just have numbers. It's just counting. We're just counting. Anyway, overall, it seems like we struggle with keeping track of time. And I understand that that's hard. I understand that time is hard. But what's easy about time is it's always just going forward. And that's handy. Unless it's not going forward. You know those single times you've had where it had... Oh my God, I've traveled through time. Have you know? I travel forward, but like still. That sounds like I'm just making up. What happened to me? You tell me this. You tell me if I'm crazy. Not like just in general, I know that. But I had this moment where I was in a car when I was a kid, and I looked out the window and there was this tower that's on the way back from the Gold Coast, and it shows a time. And we make this travel time a lot in my youth. And I remember looking at it one time, and it had the time tower had the time that it was. I could see in my car that it was the same time. Suddenly I was at home. I looked out, I looked at this thing, and it's almost like I moved my head and I was at home. And then I was like sitting there going, what is going on? And I was like, did I fall asleep? No, I didn't. I just turned my head. I literally was not asleep. I was not asleep. I was saying that. I was like, was I asleep? And everyone's like, no. And I was like, what was I doing? And my sister was like getting kind of annoyed with me. So she wasn't even really answering me. She was like, can you stop? And just like, because it was late at night, she's like, I'm just tired. And I'm saying, no, seriously, were you looking at me? And what was I doing? And they're like, Jemma, like, because I'm a mischief maker. They thought I was just being weird. And I was immediately being weird. But like, what was I doing? Was I awake? Was I just sitting there like this? Was I talking? I think I was asking if I was talking. They just kind of was like, we didn't know what you were doing. Like they were just doing their own thing. And I swear to God, to this day, I moved forward in time. Something happened. Something shifted. Did I have an aneurysm? I don't know. Was I a normal, polite, sweet kid before that day? Maybe. Did I jump timelines? I have no clue. Something happened. And now I'm here. Am I an alien? Is that when... Here's the thing. Did an alien come into my body deciding to be present for the rest of this journey? Because up to that point it was boring. Did I have am I now presently, do I have a guy inside going, this is interesting? You know, like, is there a guy in me experiencing what I'm doing right now? Because I must admit, I'm having a good time. I'm having a weird life, right? So is that what's happening? Did a guy just come in and go, this is the good bit? And is that going to happen again? And then I can know that I'm going to die relatively, like, calm. I've spoken to other people about it, and usually I've only spoken to people about it because I need people to know that there's enough content on this podcast that you already know I'm kind of a strange person and I don't believe in woo-woo, but I believe in, I'm not ruling it out, but like, what was that? It's as simple as like, I did have those memories and it was erased because of it, because our brains don't actually recall information, it forgets it. So there's a part of your brain, did you know this? Now you do. We've retained information. There's a part of your brain that actually actively forgets it so that there's more space. I don't know. It's just, it's not necessary. It'll just go, don't need that. So, and the human brain is actually very bad at recalling real memories. In fact, there's a bunch of like things that happened recently in like crime where they're like, we have to like dig up these cases because they're like, it was on the concept that people remembered properly and they didn't. You can be imposed with memories. Scary. What is the government doing? Anyway, years are hard. Humans have decided, find years hard to keep track of. We're adding months, we're adding a day. What we've figured out is that we need a little bit of leeway. And you know what? That's very human, very cute. I like that as humans, when we've decided on a year, we have based it on like seasons and on the world, but the world is actually not like completely mathematically perfect. So we've decided to make additions and subtractions, is adorable. I love that, so that we can keep in tune with nature. I like that. We can't calculate and put everything into cute, neat little boxes. I think that's nice. In the same way that like science tries to put animals into boxes consistently by giving them names where they're related. And then there's the odd animal like the platypus that just doesn't quite fit. And they're like, he's another guy. Let's just add another category. The platypus is the leap year of animals. They're like, yeah. You go over there with your kid. Quackers are the yodelers of the body parts. So platypuses are the yodelers of animals, and quackers are also the yodelers of body parts. Loving how it's all coming together. This is what I've decided. Years, we're doing our best with it. It's a symbol of humans trying to exist in a chaotic space, which I find poetic and beautiful. So let's give years 5 stars, because they're what are you gonna do with it? What are you gonna do with it? Hey, what are you doing with your year? There's a lot of days. There's a lot of days to fill up. Or, depending on how you feel about it, not a lot of days. Not a lot of days. What are you gonna do with them? As a workaholic, I do feel like years are short. I do feel like there isn't a lot of time. But the stoic in me also tells me that is so much time. And it's more time than I know what to do with, any human has to do with. So stop worrying about it. So calm down. In fact, you know how I asked you what you're doing with the year? Don't worry about it. Just let it happen to you. Let it wash over you. But do your taxes. Don't forget where tax time is. I'm going to review the color yellow. I say, and then I look around for yellow things. Yellow is not a common color. Have you, especially in cars, you know. Actually, it should be more common in cars because yellow is very easy to find, and cars that are yellow get into less accidents. Now, hey, here's a question. Hey, when they did the research on the yellow cars don't get into as many car accidents, so they take into account how many yellow cars there are as well, because like it's not common, right? So of course they're not going to get as many accidents. This is one of the things where, you know, when people pull up stats and I'm like, hey, tell me more about them stats. What is the group you measured? Is there a correlation between the fact that there's not many yellow cars and not many yellow cars and get into accidents? Do we take this into account? I need to know the stats and how they were produced. Tell me more about these stats. Tell me more about these groups. Tell me more about the placebo group, how placebo-y was it? How much placebo was in this group? Did they know there was a placebo? Did they not know there was a placebo? Did they know that if they know they're being experimented on, they know that something's going on? So is that enough of a placebo? Interesting. Let's think about that. When we're being, there is something that happens in the brain when we're being watched that makes us change dramatically. So do we take that into account? Anyway, what are we doing why did we get to stats? Yellow. Okay. Yellow is not my favorite color. It's right up there though. Some yellows, of course, are disgusting. I'm looking at you, mustard. I actually don't mind mustard. I like mustard color. I don't like that horrific, like intense yellow they use for warnings, you know, and that, I think that is for a reason. They use that intense yellow so you look at it and you're like, it's there. So, like, it does make sense. It's the hazard yellow, you know, the yellow and the black, and it's like, bees. Not bees, but toxic frogs, yellow, black, So there is psychology in color theory about that yellow. The buttermilk yellow, the current trend, of course, that everyone's like, buttermilk yellow dresses, oh, it's happening. TikTok and the internet is ruining colors for everyone. There was like the blue nails for a while. Now we have buttermilk yellow tops or whatever the hell they're doing now. Love myself a calming pastel yellow. That's a good time. I would like pairing that with a really vibrant red and white. Makes me think of shortcakes, strawberry shortcakes. Like, you know, off-white yellow, you know, where it's like just like, it's not quite white, but it's not, it is yellow. I feel uncomfortable about that yellow. I think I feel like uncomfortable about the yellow because it's in the context a lot of times to something being off-white. Like it's meant to be white, but it goes a little bit yellow. What else do we have to say about yellow? Don't eat the snow. That's yellow. You can be yellow-bellied, which means you're a coward. Is that racial? I love how on this podcast every now and then I'm like, let's wait there while I check if I've been racist in the past and I can cringe. Bellied. Because it feels like something that like eventuated from, I don't know, a gold rush time or being, you know, when they were bringing people into America to like work on train tracks. It feels, what is yellow? It feels like it could be something like that. Yellow-bellied means cowardly or easily frightened and is used as a derogatory adjective or noun. The term likely originated from birds. Oh, thank God. Okay. Birds with yellow underbellies and was later applied frequently to people lacking courage. The most commonly used as an insult. So yellow-bellied is, you're a coward. I do actually remember that being used in Back to the Future when he was like, don't call a coward or whatever his thing was. Don't call me a pussy. Whatever the other term. A chicken, that's it. Both paltry insults. He probably didn't care about being called a coward. He just didn't like being called any avian variety of insult. He could have called him a pecker and he'd be like, hey, what'd you call me? A pecker. I dare you. If he called him a pussy, he probably would have been like, that's fine. That's a cat. Yellow snow. When you answer the phone, yellow. Remember in The Simpsons when he would answer the phone and went yellow because like he's yellow as well? Is that why he did it? We don't know. I'm not Googling it because we're done with our Googles today. As far as yellow goes, it's, I think, like, words-wise, we use yellow as something to describe things badly or poorly. It's not, like, I don't think I've ever heard yellow used in kind of a nice way, like, apart from describing flowers, maybe. It's always like their teeth were off yellow or the carpet had been stained yellow with, it's never been like, yellow gives off a little bit of a dirty sort of feel as well because of there's very few cases for me where yellow is good and fine. Okay, it does seem like a happy color. You think of the sun, you think of Mr. Happy from the Mr. Men series. Like it does come across that way, but because of that, it also gives me this adolescence feel, which also gives me this sticky feel, which also gives me this gross play school. Everything you touch is gross feel. So again, yellow has a negative connotation for me, so we're gonna give it 2 stars. Sorry, yellow. I didn't realize I'd have that much to say on yellow, honestly. But I never do. I never do think I have that much to say on things, but I did a video on umbrellas that took bloody 30 minutes by itself. I had to cut down that yellow, I had to cut down the umbrella bit so much. You're welcome. I talk about umbrellas for entirely too long. I feel a little bit about the same about yellow, so we'll see how long the yellow bit goes for. Because I'm out of time, but like I'm still talking about it. Okay, we might need to end there because I did talk about yellow for entirely too long, and I don't know if I can keep all of that in. Let's hope we have enough on yodeling and years. I can't believe I spoke for yellow for that long. I don't think it was even that interesting. Fuck. All right. That's the episode. See you in Z. Oh, goddamn. That was long and stupid. Okay, all right.